Stop acting like an old woman or an old man when you're only in middle life. You've got to stop it. And I'm probably directing this comment more towards the later half of midlife. And somebody asked me, well, what ages do you consider midlife? And I don't think there's a defined age, but I would just say in general, just in the ballpark, I'm probably talking about anybody from 45 on, and I would say 50s and 60s. But nowadays, if you take a look at some of the really young 70-year-olds, even into the 70s, I think some of the people in their 70s, first half of their 70s, would not consider themselves seniors yet. And that really is a mindset and also a lifestyle. But for the second half of middle age, I think you could really give yourself a little bit of a deeper look and see, are you acting old before your time? And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that maybe we slowly start to add to our behaviors, and we don't realize that we're starting to really slow down and we're starting to age when we don't actually really have to. So let's start talking about some of those. One of the things that really ages us is when we stop playing. And there's lots of different ways to play. You can do that through games. You can do that through the banter that you have with people. That you can do that with the age groups that you decide to interact with. If you take a look, just if you're sitting on a bench and watching the different age groups go by you, you will start to see the types of activities they engage in. And look at the younger people and say, is there any reason why I stopped doing that? Is there some reason why I stopped going out and in participating in festivals? Is there a reason why I stopped going on active type vacations? Is there a reason why I stopped sitting on the floor? And all of these things, slowly you will start to find that you start to move into a bit of a smaller lifestyle. And the minute you do move into a smaller lifestyle, that's when you start to lose your physical capabilities or just your skills to be able to hold your own in those types of activities. So that's the first thing I would think that you need to take a look at. What is your lifestyle like today? And what things have you just slowly stopped doing for no real good reason? And if there was no real good reason, stop doing it. Get it back in the lineup so that you can prevent yourself from starting to age quickly. The second thing I'd like to add for people who are acting old is your fashion sense. And I was really bad for this. I just started to want to be more comfortable, and I wanted to be warm in the winter, and slowly but surely I started changing what I was wearing. And I've never been a fashionista. I'll admit that right now. I've never been a fashionista. I have always kind of had a more athletic style for the clothing that I wear. I also taught young children for a long time, so you're on your knees and crawling around the floor and you're getting filthy all day long. So I was not going to be wearing dress pants and blouses and shoes with heels and where we're taking the kids out for phys ed or any of that. So I really just always had a bit of an athletic style, but you can still end up looking fashionable and casual at the same time. And at one point I looked at myself in the mirror, and I don't know what was different that day, but all of a sudden I saw my mother, and I looked at the clothing I was wearing, and I thought, there isn't one piece of clothing that she wouldn't wear right now as an old lady. And I thought, oh my goodness, if I am wearing this already in middle age, that means I'm going to go 30 or potentially 40 years wearing that same clothing. If you are looking at your clothing right now, stop and take a look at what you're wearing today. And if you are wearing something that you think an 80-year-old would wear, it is time to stop everything you are doing and start getting online and Googling, fashion sense for women or men at 40. And that's right, we're going down a little bit here, and you're going to pick age 40, and you're going to look at the casual styles or the workplace styles, corporate wear, athletic wear, whatever you need for your lifestyle, and you look at what they're wearing, and that's what you're going to start wearing. I'm not talking about wearing something that a 20-year-old is wearing. I'm talking about just going down a notch in a decade, finding out what they're wearing and get back to wearing that. Because I think what happens is you kind of set a mindset for the day and a mindset for what your capabilities are based on what you're wearing. Just a little, just there's a little bit of psychological game going on there. And you need to stop acting old with your fashion sense immediately. If what you're wearing when you're traveling is almost the exact same thing as what that whole busload of senior citizens are wearing when they got off their tour, you need to stop that right now and get to a store. So that's one way I say you need to stop acting old. Another way that we start to act old is when we start to just have people around our age. Just we're surrounded by that. That's what we do all our activities with, and that's who we talk to. You need to make sure that you have a wide variety of ages that you interact with. And you can see that as people age, when they get into their senior years, and if they start to move into a community where everybody is their age, then that's when they really start to act older. They take on the interests and the conversations of the people around you, and you start to lose the ability to interact with people who might be 40 years younger than you, and they also start to lose the ability to interact with people your age. So I think it's really important that you set yourself up in an environment with multi-generations in it. Choose a community where you have families that are there, young, and you have senior citizens that are in your neighborhood. But just make sure, and if you know, I'm not saying you need to move, but I'm saying that you need to put yourself in environments on a regular basis where you have a wide variety of different generations. And that way you won't lose the skill or the interest in interacting with people at all ages and stages of life. I'm here to tell you, you need to stop acting old right now. Just stop it. Make it an absolute must that this is the last day you're going to do that. Have you ever read The Secret? The Secret, that book? It's all about manifesting. Everything that you think about is what you are manifesting into your life. Make it a promise to yourself that you are certainly not going to be manifesting aging faster than it needs to happen in your life. And that is a mindset. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with aging. I'm saying that there's a lot of people out there that are aging in a way that they don't have to be. Their attitude is getting small, their living choices are getting small, and their physical body is declining in ways that didn't have to happen. And I'm not silly enough to say that every ailment that comes along to senior people didn't have to happen that way. All I'm saying is we have far more control if we are aware of what's happening to us. We have far more control to make sure that we are slowing down the whole aging mindset and that we are not acting like we are senior citizens when we are still in middle age. You don't have to act like a senior citizen ever, actually, but you can make sure that you are not behaving in that manner until you are well into your late 80s. I'm sure everybody has a story about some little old lady or old man that they know of who is still paragliding or still out there cycling on the cycling path every day well into their 80s and wearing those cycling shorts and meeting up with people who are cycling who are 30 years younger than them, and off they go in a group together, and everybody's always amazed by that senior person that they see behaving as if they're a middle-aged person. Well, that didn't just start that when they got to be a senior. That started in their middle years. I'm sure in their middle years they were not walking around looking like an old man and talking like an old man and engaging in activities like they were an old man. And then suddenly when they became a senior citizen, they flipped it. I doubt it. I think probably what happened is that person has always been of the mindset that they are capable, that they are not going to disengage with society, and that they are not going to act older than their years. So take a good look at yourself. Are you acting older than your years? And it starts with subtle behaviors. Ask your kids, your adult kids, what things did I used to do that I don't do anymore? Have you noticed? Have you noticed anything, a change in me? Ask them. They will give you the feedback. And I'm going to tell you a do as I say and not as I do example. Get a current haircut, something that looks good on you, and don't get this haircut. I went to somebody new about 4 weeks ago, and she just butchered my hair like crazy. Cut my bangs up to here. It was ridiculous. I looked like I was 2 years old. Yeah, maybe I didn't look like an old lady, but I looked like a toddler. Well, I'm just going to have to grow that out. There isn't anything you can do when they butcher your bangs. I'm just going to have to grow that out. And I will definitely be finding a new hairstylist. But check out what people are wearing today for their hairstyles. People in their 40s. Look at that. Don't look at the old lady down the street, the 80-year-old. Or don't just not style it at all. Figure out what would look good on you. Find a hairstylist who works with that age group and keep your hair styled. I think you'll feel better about yourself. I think you'll stop thinking like you're getting older, and you'll remind yourself that you are not in your 80s and 90s. Look at the people in their 40s. That's your role model. And don't look at me. I am sorry. I know I don't look good, but what am I going to do? Not start this blog for a month because I don't I don't like the way my hair was cut. That's just not my style. So I just move on and move forward and deal with what I've got. This is what I've got right now. We'll see what it looks like in 2 months. I hope it goes well for you. If you want to stop acting older than your age, but you actually can't seem to find it, one of the things you might do is take a little inventory of the types of things you wanted to do and dreamed of doing when you were younger, before life got in the way and responsibilities weighed you down. Make a list of those activities and then seek them out and see how it goes with this older body. See how it goes participating in those activities. You might find that suddenly you found your old self. And that's what happened to me when I started to pay attention and participate in some of the things I used to do before kids. It was bizarre. It was like I was almost in some kind of portal, transferring myself back to what I was at that age. And suddenly I felt that age. It was like it was a different me. It was like the old me. It was a familiar with me. It was like, hello, old friend. All of a sudden, I felt 25 years younger, because I was participating in those activities that I did 25 years ago. And actually that reminds me of a research study I heard about, where with a bunch of people in their seniors, not middle age, they were seniors, and they had Alzheimer's. And what they did was this cool experiment where they moved these people into a controlled setting where everything in the residence that they lived in was as if it was 30 years ago. So the decor was set up from 30 years ago. The music that they were exposed to, the TV shows that were playing, the movies that they showed was all popular stuff that came out 30 years ago. And what they found was all of a sudden these Alzheimer's patients who didn't have the ability to really the cognitive ability to interact anymore. They had kind of shut down their verbal exchanges, and sometimes they didn't really look like they were acknowledging their environment. All of a sudden, these skills for them started to come back out because their mind was being exposed to the environment that they had been in 30 years ago when they were capable and their mind was working well. So let's sort of just take that lesson from that and apply it to us here in middle age. Why don't we start exposing ourselves to things when we were 20 and 30 and see if we can get back that younger mindset so that we can slow down our own unintentional but still important movement towards being old. Stop acting older than you need to be acting at your age. Please think about all of this that I suggested today. If you yourself discovered this and you have some strategies that you think other people would be interested in hearing, would you mind please putting that in the comments so the rest of us can read it and get some really cool ideas and find out how we can take a good strong look at ourselves and see, are we acting old? Do we actually look just like grandma? Because we don't need to be grandma. Grandma is not something that we need to be in 20 and 25 when we are middle-aged. I hope it works well for you. It's something I'm going to keep in mind in the future. Thank you for joining the Solo in Canada, Musings from Midlife, and help me, please help me to expand this community so that other people can find stories and mentors and inspiration for those of you who are living solo in Canada right now. Men and women, thank you for coming. Bye-bye.